Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's always a huge pleasure to see you stop by my page. Today's story is titled BOMA'S Choice, a heartwarming story of a young girl who believed beauty and wealth were all she needed for a perfect life. Did this actually work for her? Sit back, relax and watch till the end to find out. BOMA stared at her university admission letter with a deep sigh. She had never wanted to go to the university, but her family insisted. Her mother, a school teacher, had always told her that education was the key to a good life, while her father, a retired civil servant, saw a degree as the ultimate security. But BOMA didn't care about degrees or security. She wanted wealth, and she wanted it very fast. Despite her reluctance, she trudged 4 years at the university, barely passing her courses. She had no interest in learning, only in making it to the finish line. And when she did, her final result was nothing to be proud of, a third class. But BOMA didn't mind. She never planned to use her certificate anyway. Her plan was simple: find a rich man, get married, and live a luxurious life without the burden of work or struggle. She was beautiful, confident, and believed that her looks alone were enough to secure a life of comfort. Tekena had been in love with BOMA since their university days. Unlike her, he was determined, hardworking, and ambitious. He graduated 2 years before her and immediately started working towards his dream. His first job barely paid enough to cover his bills, but he had a vision, one that required patience and persistence. He approached BOMA many times, trying to win her heart, but she turned him down repeatedly. "You are a good guy, Tekena, but I can't date a struggling man," she told him one evening. "Love doesn't pay bills." Tekena was hurt, but not surprised. He knew BOMA had always been drawn to wealth, and he couldn't offer her that yet, so he let her go, focusing instead on building himself. BOMA didn't have to wait long before she found what she was looking for. Priye was a 40-year-old oil tycoon with wealth beyond her imagination. He spotted her at a high-end restaurant one evening, and within weeks, he was showering her with gifts. Priya didn't ask about her ambitions or career plans. He didn't care. He had money, and she had beauty. Their relationship was built on an unspoken agreement. She would provide companionship, and he would provide financial security. When he proposed marriage, BOMA didn't hesitate. She had gotten what she wanted, a life of luxury without lifting a finger. She married Priya and enjoyed years of extravagant vacations, designer clothes, and a life of ease. For 10 years, BOMA lived the dream, until the oil industry crashed. Priya, who had once been a powerful businessman, lost everything. He had spent his money carelessly, never investing in assets that could sustain him. He believed the wealth would never run out. But when the industry suffered, so did he. Suddenly, they couldn't afford the luxurious lifestyle BOMA had gotten used to. Their cars were repossessed. They had to move out of their mansion. And worst of all, Priya could no longer provide for her. For the first time in her life, BOMA was faced with harsh reality of financial struggle. And she had no skills, no work experience, and no idea how to survive without someone else's money. After months of living in financial misery, Boma had no choice but to look for a job. She had poor qualifications that didn't stand out, no experience to offer, and no confidence outside of her beauty, something that was beginning to fade. Eventually, she landed an interview for a receptionist position at a top firm. It wasn't what she had imagined for herself, but she was desperate. With no other options, she swallowed her pride and attended the interview. But the moment she walked into the office, her legs nearly gave out. Sitting across the desk, dressed in an expensive suit, was the last person she had expected to see, Tekena. Boma could barely breathe. The man she had once rejected for being poor was now the CEO of the very company she was hoping to work for. Tekena's eyes met hers, and a small smile played on his lips. "Boma," he said calmly, "it's been a long time." She felt humiliation flood her body. She had chosen wealth over love, and now the man she once dismissed was in a position to either offer her a lifeline or turn her away. "Please, Tekena," she whispered, shame evident in her voice. "I really need this job." Tekena leaned back in his chair, observing the woman who had once thought he wasn't good enough. He had spent the last 10 years building himself, starting from nothing, working tirelessly and investing wisely. He had been heartbroken when Boma chose Priye over him. But instead of wallowing in self-pity, he used it as a fuel to push forward. Now he owned one of the fastest growing consulting firms in the country. After a moment of silence, he spoke. "Boma, do you remember when you told me love doesn't pay bills?" She nodded, ashamed. "Well, neither does beauty," he continued, "but hard work does." Instead of turning her away, Tekena offered Boma the job. But it wasn't an act of revenge. It was a lesson. He wanted her to understand that wealth built on nothing never lasts, but success earned through hard work is enduring. Boma worked as a receptionist, struggling to adjust to a life without luxury. But over time, she began to change. She watched how Tekena ran his business, how he made smart investments, and how he built something from the ground up. For the first time, she realized what she had missed: real success, not just borrowed wealth. Determined to change her life, Boma started learning. She took online courses, read books, and slowly worked her way up in the company. Tekena, seeing her transformation, mentored her. It took years, but Boma finally built something for herself. She opened her own consulting agency, helping young entrepreneurs avoid the mistakes she and Priye had made. She was no longer just somebody's wife. She was a woman who had created her own wealth. One evening, Boma and Tekena sat together after a business conference. "You know," she said, smiling, "if I had chosen you back then, I would have saved myself a lot of pain." Tekena chuckled. "Maybe, but then you wouldn't have learned the value of true wealth." Boma nodded. Life had given her a second chance, and she had taken it. What lessons did you take from this story? For me, it's good to build your own wealth. Never depend solely on someone else for financial security. Hard work pays off. Beauty and charm can open doors, but only skills and determination will keep them open. Invest wisely. Money that isn't invested will eventually disappear. Never look down on potential. The person struggling today might be the success story of tomorrow. Redemption is always possible. No matter your past mistakes, it's never too late to start over. Boma had learned her lesson the hard way, but in the end, she found something even greater than wealth. She found purpose. What other lessons did you take from this story? Kindly put them onto the comment section. Thank you.